Picture this. You wake up, pour your morning coffee, and step into the living room only to freeze. There, perfectly placed on the rug, is a lifeless bird or mouse. Beside it sits your sweet purring furball, looking incredibly proud of this gruesome delivery. If you're like most cat parents, your first instinct is immediate disgust, followed closely by a lingering question: why on earth do they do this? For decades, animal experts confidently told us that cats bring us dead prey simply because they think we are pathetic, clumsy hunters who would starve without their intervention. But recent breakthroughs in feline psychology have uncovered a secret behind this behavior that is far deeper, highly mysterious, and honestly, quite emotional. This macabre little present isn't just an ancient hunting instinct glitching out in your modern home. It is a profound hidden message decoded straight from the wild. The real reason your cat insists on gifting you their casualties will shatter everything you thought you knew about your pet. Because behind those glowing eyes and sharp claws lies a breathtaking truth, one that reveals exactly how your cat truly feels about you. To truly understand the heavy significance of that lifeless little mouse dropped unceremoniously onto your favorite rug, we first have to rewind the clock and strip away the cozy comforts of the modern world. Imagine the arid, unforgiving landscapes of the Middle East roughly 10,000 years ago, where the ancestor of your living room leopard, the African wildcat, roamed in fierce, uncompromising solitude. These ancient felines were the ultimate independent assassins. They were entirely self-sufficient, fiercely guarding their territory, and they absolutely never shared their food. For these wild ancestors, the very concept of a family unit was strictly limited to a mother and her kittens, and even that bond evaporated completely after just a few fleeting weeks. Keep that intensely solitary, possessive nature in the back of your mind, because it is the exact puzzle piece that makes the dead bird on your porch so utterly extraordinary. When a creature hardwired by millennia of brutal evolution to guard its hard-earned catch with its life suddenly decides to forfeit its prize to you, a completely different species, it defies the most fundamental laws of wild survival. This dramatic behavioral shift begs a fascinating question. What on earth happens in a house cat's brain to completely override millions of years of greedy, solitary survival instincts? Before we map out the specific, almost magical chemical shift that occurs in your cat's mind when they look at you, if you are as captivated by the hidden depths of feline psychology as I am, take a brief moment to subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our deep dives. And I'd actually love to hear from you. What is the absolute most bizarre gift your own cat has ever brought you? Tell me in the comments below, because whether it was a surprisingly intact frog, a stolen neighbor's sock, or just a mangled toy, your cat's specific choice of offering perfectly sets the stage for the evolutionary mystery we are unraveling right now. You see, in the untamed wild, the only time a feral feline ever carries prey back to another living being is during the crucial high-stakes window of motherhood. A mother cat doesn't just bring dead prey to her kittens to fill their stomachs. She does it as a highly calculated masterclass in survival. It is an act of profound dedication, a painstakingly slow educational process where she brings dead animals first, then slightly injured animals, and finally live prey, all to safely teach her clumsy, vulnerable babies how to survive in a dangerous world. For decades, scientists watched house cats bring dead mice to humans and lazily concluded that our pets were simply treating us like these overgrown, incompetent kittens. They assumed your cat looked at your tragic inability to catch a bird and felt a patronizing wave of pity, taking it upon themselves to feed the giant furless toddler of the house. But as modern behavioral ecologists began to observe cats more closely, they started to notice a glaring, undeniable flaw in this theory. A flaw that totally changes the narrative of the human-feline bond. The flaw is this: female cats who have never had a single litter of kittens, male cats who possess zero biological instinct to teach or nurture, and even strictly indoor cats who have never stepped paw outside to hunt a day in their lives all consistently exhibit this exact same gifting behavior. If it were purely a maternal teaching instinct, a neutered male indoor cat wouldn't be dramatically dropping a saliva-soaked toy mouse onto your chest at 3 in the morning. So, if they aren't trying to teach us how to hunt, and they aren't just treating us like pathetic dependents, what exactly is driving them to share their most prized, hard-won possessions with us? The answer lies not in how poorly they view our hunting skills, but rather in a stunning psychological adaptation that only triggers when a cat truly chooses you as their own. It involves a groundbreaking concept that animal behaviorists are only just beginning to understand, a dynamic that proves your cat's emotional intelligence is far more complex and far more affectionate than anyone ever gave them credit for. To understand the sheer magnitude of this psychological shift, we first need to strip away the domestic comfort of your living room and look closely at the ancestral DNA practically vibrating beneath your cat's fur. In the wild, small felines are solitary, hyper-vigilant hunters who operate on a razor-thin margin of survival where every single calorie matters. When a wild ancestor of your house cat made a kill, their immediate, overwhelming instinct was to drag that prey into the darkest, most secluded corner they could find. They would consume it instantly, constantly looking over their shoulder, terrified that a larger predator might catch their scent and steal their hard-earned meal. Now, fast forward to present day, your cat, whether they've just wrestled a real garden lizard or triumphantly captured a plush catnip-filled wand toy, experiences that exact same primal surge of adrenaline. Their tiny brain is flooded with dopamine, their pupils dilate until their eyes are almost entirely black, and their ancestral instincts scream at them to hoard their prize, to hide it away and protect it at all costs. Yet, they actively suppress thousands of years of deeply ingrained survival programming. They pause, they pick up their catch, and instead of vanishing under the sofa to guard it, they seek you out. Think about the gravity of that for a second. They are actively choosing to override their deepest biological drive to secure their own survival, all for you. But what exactly goes through their mind in that crucial split-second pause before they decide to bring you the mouse? It's a behavioral phenomenon that researchers are only just beginning to map out, a process of associative resource pooling that completely shatters the long-held myth that cats are aloof, selfish creatures. By the way, if your feline friend has ever presented you with one of these bizarre treasures, whether it was an actual mouse from the garden or just a crumpled grocery receipt they hunted down in the kitchen, I would love to hear about it. Drop your story in the comments below, because the sheer, sometimes hilarious variety of what cats consider a worthy offering is actually a massive clue to unlocking this entire mystery. You see, unlike pack animals such as dogs or wolves, who inherently understand the concept of bringing a kill back to the alpha to maintain pack harmony, a cat's social structure in the wild is almost entirely self-centered. There are no alphas in a cat colony. So when your cat drops a lifeless bird or a saliva-soaked toy at your feet, they aren't submitting to you as a leader, nor are they paying some kind of weird rent for living in your house. Instead, they are extending a rare, incredibly intimate invitation into what feline behaviorists term their core emotional territory. In their minds, the house isn't just a place they happen to live, and you aren't just a giant can opener. To a cat that has truly bonded with you, the two of you share a den of mutual survival. By bringing you their highest value possession, they are fundamentally stating that they view your presence, your joy, and your well-being as equal to, or perhaps even more important than, their own immediate gratification. It is the ultimate expression of feline vulnerability. They are trusting you with their life's work, expecting absolutely nothing in return but your acknowledgement and inclusion. And this is where the story takes a deeply emotional turn, one that redefines every interaction you've ever had with your pet. When you react with disgust, annoyance, or confusion, which, let's be entirely honest, is our natural human response to finding a dead rodent on the pristine living room carpet, you are entirely missing the profound, almost heartbreaking message they are desperately trying to communicate. To truly decode this message, we have to look closely at a specific powerful hormone that spikes in your cat's brain the exact moment they drop that gift at your feet. It is a chemical reaction so intense that it literally binds them to you for life. If you're as captivated by the hidden depths of your cat's mind as I am, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because what we're about to uncover regarding this specific neurochemical bond will completely change how you look into your cat's eyes. This biological response doesn't just explain the gifting behavior, it reveals a secret language of pure love that has been hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to finally understand it. To understand this secret language hiding in plain sight, we have to transport ourselves directly into the mind of a predator at the exact moment of a successful hunt. Picture your cat out in the shadows of your backyard, or even just stalking a toy in the hallway. Every muscle is coiled tight, their pupils are fully dilated, and their ancestral instincts are firing at absolute maximum capacity. In the animal kingdom, when a solitary hunter finally catches its prey, the biological imperative is ruthlessly simple: consume it immediately to survive. Adrenaline floods their system, telling them to guard their hard-won prize against any potential scavengers. Yet your domestic cat does the exact opposite. Instead of retreating into the shadows to feast, an entirely different neurological pathway is suddenly hijacked. At the precise second their jaw closes around that unfortunate mouse, bug, or bird, their brain is saturated with oxytocin, the exact same potent bonding hormone that flows between a human mother and her newborn baby. The primal, selfish urge to survive is instantly overridden by an intoxicating, overwhelming desire to care for you. Just take a moment to really let that sink in. A fiercely independent creature is actively choosing to ignore millions of years of evolutionary survival instincts simply because you exist in their world. If you have ever been on the receiving end of this astonishing sacrifice, you might remember the very specific muffled meow your cat makes when they approach you with their prize in their mouth. I would actually love to hear about your unique experiences with this, so please share the wildest or weirdest gift your cat has ever brought you down in the comments, because every single one of those stories is a tiny, fascinating window into their incredible minds. That unique, muffled sound they make as they carry their trophy to you isn't a demand for praise, nor is it a boastful display of their hunting prowess. It is a highly complex vocalization rooted in deep, almost heartbreaking protective anxiety. You see, while we look at our cats and see adorable, somewhat helpless felines dependent on us for their next bowl of kibble, your cat has been observing you and has come to a drastically different conclusion. Day in and day out, they watch you stumble around the house with clumsy, heavy footsteps. They notice your terrible night vision, your lack of sharp claws, and they are acutely aware that they have never, not even once, seen you successfully hunt for your own fresh food. In their fiercely loyal, beautifully complex minds, they have categorized you in a way that is about to flip everything you thought you knew about your relationship entirely upside down. The gift they are dropping onto your pristine carpet is not a peace offering, it is not a morbid threat, and it is definitely not an accident. It is the culmination of days, maybe even weeks, of quiet, worried observation. They have been analyzing your survival skills, and the nurturing, protective instinct in their brain has finally reached a breaking point where they feel they must intervene to save your life. But to truly grasp the monumental emotional weight of what they are asking of you in this very moment, we have to look at the ancient ancestral dynamics of the wild feline colony and the one specific, incredibly vulnerable role your cat has decided you fall into. When they finally drop that motionless animal at your feet and look up at you, they are holding their breath. They are desperately waiting for you to perform a very specific ancestral ritual in response. And how you react in those next few seconds will either shatter their confidence in your survival or solidify your bond in a way that nothing else in this world possibly could. That heavy, hanging silence in the room as your cat looks up at you is the absolute climax of their protective mission. In the wild, when a matriarch brings prey to her helpless kittens, she waits intensely for them to acknowledge the lesson, to show interest, and to validate her hard work. By dropping that gift at your feet, your cat has effectively designated you as their family, their kin, but more specifically, the absolute most vulnerable member of their colony. They are stepping into the magnanimous role of the sole caregiver, completely overriding their own survival instincts, and often their own hunger, just to ensure you do not starve. Imagine the profound depth of that sacrifice for just a moment. A perfectly engineered apex predator is literally offering you its hard-earned meal because its love for you completely outweighs its own primal selfish needs. So what is this ancient ancestral ritual they are so desperately waiting for you to perform? It is the ritual of validation and graceful acceptance. When we humans scream in disgust, or worse, scold them and immediately throw the animal into the trash while they watch, we are actively rejecting their ultimate, purest expression of love. We are communicating that their sacrifice means absolutely nothing, and in their mind, we are stubbornly refusing to learn how to survive. Instead, the ritual requires a delicate, almost theatrical grace on your part. You must suppress your human instinct to recoil, look them softly in the eyes, lower your posture, and offer genuine, gentle praise. You are acknowledging their prowess and their provision. You do not have to eat the catch, of course, but you must receive it, thank them for it, and dispose of it later when they are no longer watching. Receiving their gift with the same immense gravity with which it was given is the only way to quiet their anxious little hearts. It is in these quiet, highly misunderstood moments that the true staggering magic of the human-feline bond is actually forged. Think about it. They cannot speak our language, they cannot write us a letter of appreciation, and they cannot simply sit us down to tell us they are deeply worried about our well-being. They have only their raw, untamed instincts to communicate the sheer magnitude of their affection. If your cat has ever trusted you enough to present you with such an incredible, heartfelt offering, I would genuinely love to hear the story of how it happened down in the comments, because every single one of these experiences is a completely unique testament to a cat's endless devotion. It is a devotion so pure that it completely shatters the boundaries of species, uniting a tiny indoor tiger with a giant, clumsy human who in their golden, watchful eyes just needs a little bit of help to make it in this big, dangerous world. The next time you find a lifeless mouse or a bird waiting for you on your porch or your living room rug, I want you to look right past the mess. Look past the inconvenience. See the tiny, fiercely beating heart of a creature that spent hours waiting in the cold shadows, calculating the perfect strike, not for their own glory, but solely to keep you alive. They are saying, in the absolutely only way nature ever taught them how, that you are their family, that they love you beyond measure, and that they will protect you, always. It changes absolutely everything about how you see them, doesn't it? If this journey into the beautiful emotional mind of your furry best friend moved you, and you want to continue uncovering the deeply touching truths hidden behind their most mysterious behaviors, make sure you are subscribed to our community here so we can keep exploring together. Because at the end of the day, our cats are not just pets living in our houses. They are wild, intensely loving souls who have chosen to share their extraordinary lives with us, one tiny, breathtaking sacrifice at a time.